أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum and welcome to iTVusa's Ramadan series Raising Our Children Right. My name is Dr. Suzy Ismail from Cornerstone and I'm happy to be with you as we continue our journey into better understanding the stages of tarbiyah and how we can be the best parents we can be. In episode 9, today's episode, we're going to really focus on identity formation and understanding how our children grow their identities, how they become who they are as they go through this first stage of tarbiyah. Now, during this stage, we talked a lot about the sense of mercy that they may feel in terms of seeking safety and security from their parents at this stage. We've also talked a lot about the building of connections between the children and their parents, but also the building of connections between the children and their faith, between them and Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, we also know that not every family home looks the same. There are going to be family homes in which someone is a single parent, a single mother, a single father. Maybe the parent is widowed. Maybe there has been a divorce. Maybe the children are living in an environment in which divorce is impending. Maybe there is a lot of strife and difficulty in the home. Maybe there is a home in which there is peace and love and tranquility and connection, which is, of course, the ideal home that we all strive for in terms of building an environment for our children. Now, since we know that difficulty can often occur within the home, we also know that this has an impact on identity formation. The child who grows up in a household where there is constant fighting may grow up developing an anxious attachment style in which they are always afraid of losing someone. And so their response to other people as their identity forms and as they begin to form relationships becomes one that is very clingy, one that holds on to others. It could also be impacted by the attachment that they felt with their primary caregiver. We also see identity formation being linked to avoidant attachment styles, where maybe a child tends to be more introverted in terms of their identity formation because there is a fear of rejection, a fear of not being taken care of or having their needs met. We also know that there can be homes in which domestic violence is prevalent, or there is domestic abuse that is occurring, whether it is towards the child or between the spouses. Now, it is so important to recognize that our deen does not advocate or condone in any way, shape, or form any form of abuse or violence within the home. And that it is not sabrun jamilun to live in a situation of oppression where you or your children are put in harm's way. So many couples will often say, so many parents will often say, our marriage is broken. There are so many difficulties. There is abuse in the relationship. There is harm in the relationship, but I stay in this marriage because of the children. And it's so important to recognize that as these children get older and as we speak to teens and young adults that have been in situations where their parents have stayed for the children, their response is often, I wish they hadn't. I wish our parents had done the right thing and had separated, had removed us from the toxic environment that we were raised in because it has impacted who we are. The identity formation of the child can also rely heavily on what they are consistently hearing. Again, in this first stage, our children begin to develop their own internal voice. And the internal voice often is not an authentic internal voice in that it doesn't belong to the person themselves, but it's a voice that's made up of many other voices. So if a child has grown up in a household where there is constant criticism, oftentimes the internal narrative that they hear within themselves is, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. You have bad behavior. You're not beautiful. You are overweight. You are not good to your siblings. You don't have any friends. Things that are negative. And even if as a parent, we may be thinking, well, I'm encouraging my child, I'm pushing them to be the best they can be. Criticism is not the way to do that. And what we succeed in doing as parents when we criticize our children is to break them down, to cut back on their ability to have a positive self-talk narrative within themselves. And we don't want to do that. So in order to help our children develop strong identities, we want to be conscious of how we talk to them and how we talk in front of them. So the little girl who sees her mother looking in the mirror and hears her mother saying, "I'm so fat, oh my goodness, I've gained so much weight," that little girl is going to inherit that voice, and she is going to grow up questioning her own looks, questioning her own body. And many times we'll see body image issues that stem from parental views, right? If parents are criticizing one another, right? If a father is constantly criticizing the mother in the relationship, putting her down, saying negative words, the children will also be impacted in terms of their identity formation if this is what they hear. So in order to strive to raise righteous children and to raise them right, we want to ensure that the soil in which they are growing is fertile soil that provides them with the best avenues of encouragement, of self-esteem, of guidance, and of a loving, warm, caring, compassionate environment in which they can thrive. So I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal allows us to provide that environment for our children. And I hope that you'll continue to join me every night of Ramadan as we continue to explore the stages of tarbiyah and better understand how to raise our children right. Jazakum Allahu khair. Assalamu alaikum.